Before we dive into the story, please consider subscribing to my channel for more gripping tales like this one. From this moment forward, you are no longer part of this family. Leave and never return. Those words weren't merely uttered. They crashed into me like bricks, thrown by my own mother during Thanksgiving dinner, in front of every relative whose respect I once yearned for. The sharp click of the door locking behind me, the sound of laughter reigniting inside, as if I'd been erased in an instant. Those became the moments that shaped my life. But no one, especially not her, could have predicted that a single email, arriving just 7 days later, would turn everything upside down. The subject line glared, "Urgent, contact us immediately." It wasn't just an email. It was the spark of my retribution. I didn't grow up in a home. I grew up in a war zone. My father was my protector, the only barrier against my mother's biting words. When he passed away from a sudden stroke at 14, that shield was gone and I was left defenseless. My mother transformed overnight. My tears were met with her scorn. My achievements were brushed aside. My failures? Proof of my worthlessness. I was never her pride and joy. I was the blemish on her flawless reputation. My cousins, her sister's children, were her shining stars. Top students, doctors, architects, they were her trophies, flaunted at every family gathering. Meanwhile, I juggled 2 jobs and night classes, reduced to the family's cautionary tale. I stayed in her house because I had no other option. Rent was a luxury I couldn't afford. My only solace was a dream. One day, I'd show her she was wrong. That Thanksgiving, the house buzzed with warmth. The aroma of roasted turkey and cinnamon lace pies filled the air. The table sparkled with polished glassware. Laughter echoed through the room. For a fleeting moment, I let myself believe I belonged, that this was what family felt like. Then my mother shattered the illusion. She lifted her glass, her gaze cutting, her voice slicing through the joy. "You know what I'm grateful for," she said with a smirk. "That I'm not like certain people here, squandering their lives. 25, still leeching off me, still a nobody." The room went quiet. Forks hovered. My uncle cleared his throat uncomfortably. My face burned. "Mom, please," I murmured. But she wasn't done. She stood, slammed her glass on the table, and declared, "From now on, you're a stranger. Don't come back." Before I could process, she dragged me to the door, shoved me into the icy night, and locked it behind me. The laughter inside resumed, as if I'd never existed. That night, standing in the freezing dark, my breath visible in the cold, I made a vow. One day she'd regret those words. A week later, crashing on a friend's couch, exhausted and hungry, my phone buzzed. The email subject line snapped me awake. Law Offices of Gerald H. Marks. Urgent. I assumed it was a hoax, but curiosity won. "Miss Carter, we represent the estate of the late Robert King. Please call our office regarding an inheritance matter." Robert King. The name hit me like a punch. My father's old business partner, rich, influential, mysterious. When I was young, he'd gift me books on my birthday, saying softly, "Keep learning. Knowledge will carry you far." I hadn't heard from him since my father's funeral. With shaking hands, I called the number. "This is Gerald Marks," a steady voice answered. I introduced myself. A pause, then, "Miss Carter, we've been searching for you. Robert King passed last month. His will names you the sole heir of his estate." I thought I'd misheard. "His estate?" "Yes, everything. Companies, accounts, real estate. Estimated at $63 million. My throat tightened. My pulse raced. "Why me?" I whispered. The lawyer hesitated, then read a note from the will. "Your father was the brother I never had. Take what I've built and live without chains. Loyalty earns rewards. Betrayal earns consequences." Those words weren't just guidance, they were a blade. And I knew exactly who deserved its edge. I didn't rush to my mother, flaunting my newfound wealth. That would have been too kind, too quick. I wanted her to unravel slowly, to feel the noose tighten before she realized who held it. So I played the long game. Power. I met with attorneys, signed documents, and moved assets. Through shell companies, I bought properties, grew Robert's businesses, and tripled my wealth in months. Silently, invisibly, I became unstoppable. Infiltration. My mother worked at a mid-tier accounting firm, stable but vulnerable. Through a holding company, I acquired the building her firm leased. Soon, an eviction notice arrived. Panic rippled through her office. Their lease was canceled. I pictured her confusion, her frantic voice asking, "Who owns this place now?" She'd never suspect it was me. Her home was next. I tracked her mortgage, bought the debt through a bank, and when she missed a single payment, I sent the foreclosure notice. The daughter she cast out now controlled her entire world. But I wasn't done. Her weapon had been Thanksgiving's public humiliation. Mine would be Christmas. I hosted a grand charity gala at the city's most opulent hotel. Invitations went to every relative, every friend, every person who saw my disgrace. My mother got one too. The gala shimmered with chandeliers, violin music, and clinking champagne flutes. Guests murmured about the enigmatic young host. Then I stepped forward, dressed in a gown of deep velvet, my presence commanding. My mother entered, gripping her invitation, confusion etched on her face. She didn't recognize me at first. Wealth had reshaped me. But when she did, her jaw dropped. I took the stage, microphone in hand. "Ladies and gentlemen," I began, my voice clear and strong. "A month ago, I was called nothing, a stranger unwelcome. Tonight, I stand as the heir to Robert King's empire, $63 million, businesses, properties, and power. All of it is mine." The room gasped. Whispers spread. Cameras clicked. My eyes found hers. "You cast me out. You said I didn't belong. But I'm not the stranger here. You are." The applause roared. My mother's face drained of color, then burned red. She stumbled back, exposed before the crowd she once dominated. It was the sweetest triumph I'd ever known. Humiliation wasn't enough. Humiliation fades. I wanted her world dismantled. Her job vanished when her firm collapsed without its office. Her home was repossessed. She moved into a tiny apartment, stripped of her dignity. Her social circle crumbled. Relatives who once revered her now gossiped about her fall and my rise. She tried to reach me. Phone calls, emails, letters dripping with regret. "Please, I didn't mean it. You're my daughter. Let me explain." I ignored them all. She wanted me to be her daughter when it suited her. But the night she locked me out, she made her choice. I made mine. Months later, I passed her on the street. She didn't notice me. She sat on a park bench, disheveled, eyes empty, clutching a bag with her few remaining possessions. The woman who once mocked my failures now embodied failure. For a moment, something stirred in me. Guilt, perhaps pity. But then I remembered Thanksgiving. The locked door. The laughter resuming. Her words, "From today on, consider yourself a stranger." And she was right. I am a stranger now, to her, to the small world she tried to trap me in. But I'm also a stranger with power, wealth, and the thrill of victory. A stranger who rose from the ruins she thought would bury me. And the stranger she created was the one who unmade her. The end.